Let's kick it old school! Old school essentials. The further adventures of the Thunderous Fury.
It is Old School Essentials, The Further Adventures of Thunderous Fury, session 41. Time for the recap.
So, beginning of last episode, we were finally on and had gotten out of range of the darn city. Of course, Ox points out that by the end of the day, there's going to be a description of our ship going out to every major city and port around here, and we will be in trouble as soon as we try to dock, because everything around here owes at least some allegiance to the Ape Empire. So Ox's suggestion was he was going to make a U-turn, come back south of Clinkful, in other words, the opposite direction we were seen leaving, get to the Mastodon Lighthouse, and get close to Hexor's crossing and drop us off. Then he would attempt to pick up some extra sailors, try to frame them for the theft of the ship at least, and maybe for some of the problems in the city. Who knows? He didn't say it, but that was sure what I thought. In any case, it gets us off the hook, so be it. After some argument, we generally agree, and those of us who need rest do it. There was one minor little incident as we were tootling around the river. There was a fishing vessel with some trouble, 2 guys overboard. Orion does his control water thing and drops them right back on the ship. Everything's good. Really late night or early morning, depending. Raining, cold. The shoreline is sheer rock for a bit, but we start passing some docks and homes, and finally pull into a dock with a couple of houses with it, and the boat that's not too dissimilar to ours already on the other side of the dock. We look around for people nearby, and sure enough, there's an old guy with a beard, comes out and sort of eyeballs us really hard because he doesn't know what the heck we're doing. When we ask him about the other sailors, it turns out that the Jonas brothers are in the tavern about 10 miles away. While we're talking, the guy's wife apparently comes out carrying a musket, and she is a little happier to see us, especially when she talks about the jumpsuit, and Cinedog offers to give them a couple of suits. It turns out she gets really chatty. She wanted to go to Clinkful in her
Feats of style.
Feats of style, thank you. Feats of style. But hasn't got a chance, and so she wants to show off to at least someone. Ox bows out that point and heads off to the tavern to see if he can't catch up with the sailors that were mentioned. And the rest of us go in the house, and it's quite crowded, but it's a nice place, really hot fire, and the rest of us are sitting there dripping, and sure enough, we find out that the wife indeed wants to display her dancing skills, and changes into the jumpsuit and begins dancing. So she turns out to be absolutely incredible at it. The guy is barely tolerable, but he's working on it. At that point, our friend Clintok decides that he's going to take he forgot something on the ship, checks his handy gem pointer, and figures out that, yes, indeed, there are gems. Go this way. Look, there are gems within that distance. Comes across a fence, ignores it. Comes across a sign with a warning, ignores it. And, of course, immediately gets jumped by a ghoul and put down in fairly short order. In the meantime, Karn has decided that maybe he will follow Ox to the tavern and gets there to find that Ox has already managed to talk up some sailors. Maybe it has to do with that strange glowing rune on his forehead. Who knows? Apparently, thank goodness our favorite paladin is overlooking what looks like mind control. Ox has not only managed to get the sailors to sail the rogue ship, but to give them their ship. And so we can then sail their ship from the docks and go away. Great. Ox tells Karn to go turn back around and let everybody know that so we can get out of there and with a clean trail. Well, in the meantime, The dancing is going pretty well. Orion managed just to show them how it works a bit. A couple of other people try to get their dancing feet on, and that doesn't work too well. But then we realized that, yes, indeed, our friend Clintok is gone. So we go out to look for him. We managed to track the direction he's gone and are warned by our host now that the Wagonbow Estate imports monsters and they hunt strange creatures on their property. So, of course, we suspect that is indeed what has happened to Clintok. And indeed, it happens to us in very short order as we're jumped by something 9 foot tall with webbed hands and seaweed hair. Torjan is torn up a little. Fortunately, the party starts doing some damage, but Torjan panics, not seeing the thing not going down, and using the force orb, which is probably a bit of an overkill because the thing splatters on its way out. Unfortunately, in the meantime, it has hurt Zophon fairly nastily. Zophon and the male guy who's helping us decide to go back to their cabin and settle down so that Zophon can rest. In the meantime, Karn gets back and lets us know what has gone on with Ox, but also Karn's dog has Clintok's dagger, which means, hey, we got a way to find Clintok. Yay. And of course, Karn also informs us the dog has finally decided on its name, and it is Brutus Cromwell Ashford III. So we head out following the dog. Well, it turns out that indeed the dog is tracking something, and it's dinner. We find some guys whose wagon has been stuck in the mud, and of course, as part of the wagon load, is carrying sausage, and the dog goes straight to them. We manage to get them out and get a sack of sausage and green peppers as payment, as well as yet another warning of we don't want to be anywhere near the Wagonbow Estate because of the crazy monsters. We're still following the dog and run into 4 giant ants, and they seem to be munching on something. Is it a horse? Is it an elf here? Who knows? But so we start engaging the ants, with Torjan, of course, greatly regretting his use of the orb earlier. He decides to use the supposed transformation darts, and finds out that, yes, indeed, it transforms the ant to 4 times the size, including lots of extra toughness and lots of extra damage. In other words, it just went from, 2 or 3 hit kill to 1 hit kill.
It was an adamant.
With some effort, 3 of the ants go down, and the 4th ant, however, Basil becomes the hero of the hour because he climbs the ant, plants his rabbit flag so everybody gets a bonus, and starts stabbing the ant from the top where it can't hit him. We get a couple more hits in on it, and the woman appears out of nowhere, unfurls a sword, and between her and the rest of the party, we manage to kill it. The woman introduces herself as Jenille Wagonbow, and says that, yes, indeed, she wishes to make right the craziness that her family has and get rid, clear the land. And of course, she's also got Clintok with her and is planning on marrying him thanks to some odd tarot card she's got. And that's where we left off.
So Zophon was badly hurt.
Yes, concussed for 12 days.
Yeah. So yeah, he's hurting. So Teresa is taking care of you. It is the early morning as snow is coming down and sleet. You are there with Ethics, Crispin, Remy, Muddy D, and Cinedog hanging out there as Teresa is trying to take care of you. And of course, Crispin was hurt as well as he is being tended to.
So, my dear lady, are we going to the chapel and we're gonna get married?
Are you okay? Were you hit as well in the head?
I have this big bump. Can you feel it for me? I don't know if it's okay. It's been growing.
That's a synagogue. Hit up the woman right in front of her husband. That'll make everything good.
Hey, you got to give it a try. You know, FOMO, YOLO, LIFO, LMAO.
Say, Clintok was the one who fell in the honey pot this time around.
Remy looks at this situation and she's like, "This isn't good. Maybe they need our help." Synagogue, do you remember where they went?
They went down there somewhere. You know, just over there.
Do you want to show me? We should probably go find them and bring them back.
Well, you think they want to have a little time alone? You know.
You mean the whole group of them?
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
They probably could use some help. Oh, that moss thing. Is my how's my head?
Remy's like, tilt your head a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect. It looks great.
It doesn't look any worse than the last time I saw you.
Nobody will notice from a distance.
Oh. Suppose I have a solution.
I do have a spare breech clout you could rub it with.
I think the only place that could get my head back to normal is there's got to be someone in New Tanjau City. I might have to go there.
New Jack City?
New Tanjau City, that's another boat ride. Will take a while.
There's no need to go now, but there probably would have someone who would be able to fix this.
And Teresa looks at you. She says, "There's nothing that some fish stew and some warm bread won't cure. So just lay back, relax." She says, "Omar, will you go with them? Make sure, find their friends, make sure they're okay. They were so nice to us. I feel very bad about what has happened." He's like, "Okay, all right. I'll make my way down onto the estate. I'll bring these two." Is Zofan going to rest?
Yeah, Zofan is.
Okay.
He's probably gonna be out of commission. I for as long as he can here.
Okay.
He not sleep off a concussion because that's not how it works, but he will definitely like be out.
Okay.
Laying low.
Crispin is going to rest up as well. He tries to stop Remy from going, but then is like, "Well, I'm not going to be able to stop her from doing anything." And she goes with her and Cinedog head out with Omar. He doesn't need his lantern as he heads out. He takes a short sword with him and begins to head out behind the estate and over the wall and onto the estate to try to follow Cinedog, where you guys were last seen. Just as he's doing that, a soldier comes up to him in armor, wearing some kind of tunic or something that's got a symbol on it. And Omar says, Maurice, how are you? He said, Omar, hold, nice. I don't think we've met. I just wanted to let you and Teresa know that we have come from Hexor's Crossing, and I'm just warning all the local towns and villages that there was an attack at Clinkville. Apparently, there was some sort of paladins of St. Cuthbert, black magic practitioners, I believe, that caused a bunch of buildings to burn.
Oh boy, Karn's gonna hate that.
But if you come across them, they are worth a lot of money alive. Clinkville wants them to question them. They're with some escaped pirate. He goes by the name of Ox. But all of them are potentially were creatures. So don't approach them. You could be bitten or something. They're very, very dangerous. If you have any kind of information, it is worth at least 1,000 gold pieces. And if you can return one of them alive, that's 5,000 each.
We got a hell of a bounty.
We should have more today, later today on maybe potentially some sketches and names of who we were looking for. But he looks at Remy and Synodog. He's like, I'm sorry, if you've seen these individuals, just be very careful. Can I ask where you're from?
Where we're from?
Yes, I haven't seen you before out here.
Listen, I'll tell you where I'm from in the name of a song. I'm not your lover. I'm not your friend. I am something that you'll never comprehend. No need to worry. No need to cry. I'm your messiah, and you're the reason why. Does that answer your question?
He just looks at Remy, and Remy's like, yeah, what he said.
That's right. How do you like them apples?
And then Omar says, well, there was some group that came in early this morning that we just gave safe harbor to, and one of them wandered off onto the Wagonbow Estate, and they went looking for him. He's like, oh, I don't want to hear that. Well, and he says, one's been injured in the house there. You should go talk to them. There's more? Oh, yeah. So, well, I may have to get a party together. We may have to go into the Wagonbow Estate and find them if somebody's been hurt. Maybe that's where they've gone. And he says, be careful out there, and runs off to the house to go talk to Teresa. And Omar just kind of gives Synodog and Remy a look like, and then starts to head through the marsh. It takes about an hour or two. And
my friend, I don't understand your look.
He's like, oh, well, that's okay. I just hope that you're not associated with that group.
No, we only associate with the good people. People like you, you know? Good ones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't suspect you. I mean, how can you suspect somebody would do a type of thing like that and hand out fuzzy jumpsuits and bucket hats?
That would be blasphemy. Listen, my friend, come in close here. I want to tell you something.
Yes.
Dig, if you will, the picture of you and I engaged in a kiss. The sweat of your body covers me. Can you, my darling? Can you picture this?
I don't have that kind of imagination.
Oh, well, go away.
So he leads you through the cold marsh. Synodog points the way from the way back. He's like, pointing in which direction to go as Omar is leading the way. Meanwhile, we go back to the other group as you guys are making your way through the marsh. The woman who you have met, who has introduced herself as Jenille Wagonbow, seems to have like a glow about her. Like the snow sort of like falls off around her. She almost looks angelic with her, her flower circlet and her sword. And she begins to lead you, says, we can't wait here. We need to move. And she leads you. You can see the manor in the distance. It's about a quarter of a mile away. It is massive. There's a huge kind of like dome. There's a bunch of domes in the middle of it, and like two wings that stretch out, of this manor. And you can see that there are some lights on. And she leads you kind of almost on a path. You realize there's some trees on either side, and some of the trees have been either cut or, cut down or burned or whatever, but there's still a few trees left, and they have a little bit of snow in them, but they still have green leaves, and this is the middle of winter. And now you can see that it's a path, and it leads up to a house, but you just see the foundation because you can see the snow around where the walls have fallen down. And she walks up like some steps and opens a door. to the floor and says, go down there, and shows you like a ladder. And you go down into like the basement. And there's a couple candles going on a mantle, and there's a fireplace. Once you get down there, you notice it's kind of cold down here. Like for a fire to be going, it's not like a roaring fire. It's a fairly cold day. It's still chilly down here. And you also notice there's no food. Like there's no something cooking or anything like that. There's a bedroll, and between the bedroll and the fireplace is a big circular ornate rug that has a bunch of symbols on it. Karn would instantly know that these are symbols of the gods. And they're sort of aligned, and they've got lines to each other, and it looks meticulously cleaned, like it's been restored, maybe like she's been working on it. And on the fireplace, it looks like she's got a couple knickknacks up there, urns, and some candles lit. And she welcomes you in. She says, "I will get the fire." And she grabs some wood and starts throwing some wood on the fire. I'm so sorry about your friend, but I can't argue with prophecy. I believe that it is true this time.
Where did you get the card?
Oh, it was on him.
What did she have from?
She showed you a card. She shows you a tarot card, and it's
Oh,
Roman chariot, and it looks like Clintok in it, and she's next to him, and they're riding.
What is it you have to do with your family then?
Well, it is.
You mentioned cleaning up their mistakes.
Yes, they have. It's a terrible history. I mean, and she kind of points to the basement, and you see a rack of some like bottles of wine that are unopened that got dust on them. And she says that this was my however many greats home when Wagonbow, when they started their caravan business all along these lands, and he built the business, and then every subsequent Wagonbow who inherited didn't take as good a care of the business as he did, and were more focused on, as she points in the direction of the manor, of building the manor. Slowly over time, the estate was built bigger and bigger and bigger as the business sort of fell away and pieces of it were sold. And my grandfather was desperate and was going to sell the rest of the business, or he had sold the rest of the business. He had talked about selling the manor or doing something. And then she talks about this event, which all of you have heard about, when after the God War, when magic sort of vanished and then mysteriously returned in the form of crystals coming out of the sky, and they landed everywhere. And these crystals had different colors. And the Ape Empire would go around confiscating them. And she says that a huge crystal landed, and it was giant, and it crashed through the arboretum, through the glass, and landed there. And he brought all sorts of people in to look at it. He kept it quiet from the Ape Empire because he was afraid the Empire would hear about it and claim it. So he got people to pay him money to come even look at it. He took money to hold it for them. Many groups came in and said, here's 50, 100 gold, save it for me. Oh, yes, I will. So he did all this. And he was going to sell it. And then all of a sudden, something changed. He decided that he was not going to sell it. He decided he was going to keep it. And the people who came to claim their money just never returned. They just vanished. And he became very paranoid of everyone, like people were going to come and get it or come and hurt us. And he said, we have to keep everything. And she says, this is what was told to me by my mother. Everything was supposed to be kept in the family. I had my father marry his sister to keep everything in the family. When all of this happened, eventually my grandfather passed on all the wards and traditions of the Wagonbow onto my father. And my father had a son, my brother William, and then my older sister Natel, and then there was me. And then my mother told me that don't stay in the manor; it will corrupt you and make you and turn you and change you. Stay somewhere, and that's why I've lived out here for most of the time. I will go into the manor from time to time to make an appearance. And then after she told me that, she died. So my father married my sister. And then he said that I will have to marry my brother. And then at that point, he will hand over to me the wards and rights of the estate. But I have no intent of marrying my brother.
Do you and your brother not get along?
I don't know. Haven't seen him. He is stricken with some sort of madness and locked somewhere in the bowels of the manor.
I wouldn't want to marry someone who's mad either. Although they're probably crazy strong. They'd be great in competitions.
But I have taken your friend Clintok and placed him in the manor in William's bedroom, because William is never in there anyway. And I told my uncle, who I don't even know if it's really my uncle, that's what he claims to be, but I'm not really sure at this point, that it's William. Now, inside the manor, they will not touch him. They believe he is William. He is in William's bed, so he is safe there. He cannot stay there too long for fear that he may get some of this corruption. But that's why we need to proceed with the arranged marriage, and I shall dispatch of my sister and my father and take over the estate. But I have to do it once the marriage is complete, because my father will think that it's William, and then he will hand me over the wards and the powers of the manor, and then we will. She looks at you like, presumably you're going to help her remove all of this, all of the evil that they have brought.
So were the monsters imported, or did they just arise from surrounding countryside?
I'm not sure. I believe my grandfather did at one time have some sort of game preserve, but not the things that roam these grounds now. So I don't know if they have been corrupted or they have showed up because of the corruption. It all generates from that arboretum. I don't even go in there, and I would advise that if you enter the estate, you do not go in there. Something evil is in there.
You didn't try to destroy his crystal or whatever it was.
I attempted one time to set the whole, it's basically some sort of forest. I attempted to burn the whole thing down, and it didn't work.
But did you try to use oil when you set that fire?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I attempted to use fire.
That a barrel of lantern oil and fire, the torch will burn down just about anything.
Brian reaches over and smacks Basil up in the back of the head.
Hey!
Just doesn't say anything.
Basil,
all right.
a dirty look, fingers his dagger.
How the heck is Clintok going to masquerade as William long enough to get married? I mean, they supposedly know what William looks like, right? Did you put enough bandages on him that he can't even, tell who their brother is or brother, son, whatever?
I only encountered my uncle and maybe some of the wait staff, the servers, and he is in William's room. And if my father sees him in there, which he will roam the manor, he will believe he's William. As long as he stays there one night, overnight, he should be fine. If this prolongs much, beyond 2 or 3 days, I'd be afraid that he would be corrupted.
Right.
Basil's gonna see if she's like, can he tell if she's trying to pull a fast one on us? Like, is there something in like the way she's talking about this that kind of, like, we already know that like things are a little off because she's got like this kind of immaculate form aura, and like it's like there's a fire but it's cold, so we know something's off. But does it look like she's I don't know. Does it look like she's like has any body language that's telling us otherwise?
What's Basil's wisdom?
10.
You don't need to roll. She's probably leaving out a couple things. She's I wouldn't say being selective with leaving out things, but yeah, there's probably some stuff she's left out.
Well, even if we help you, there are two issues. We have other party members that we're separated from, and we would need to get up with them. And we've been up all night, and tired as hell, and need to recover spells. So, is there any? I don't see much of a place here for us to rest. Is there any place that we can rest and recover for a bit?
You can stay down here in this basement. I can get the fire a lot warmer. I'm sure you'd need it a lot warmer.
I'm looking around. Is there still only one bedroll?
Yeah, there's only one bedroll.
I don't know how we do it in this game. Is there do you recognize languages for the alignment languages?
Yep.
Karn's going to, Karn's lawful good. He's going to speak to her in the alignment language, just ask her, what is with the carpet? What's with the gods? Which way are you aligned?
That's a very interesting question. She starts to talk to you back in this language and says that it's the original gods, and then looks at your symbolism and starts to look at the thing to try to find where Saint Cuthbert is in this circle of gods. She says that it's good to have someone of faith in this group. I mean, there's just so many there's a lot of evilness that exists in that manor that I think only somebody like you would be able to handle.
Well, it is true that Cuthbert has put me here for only one reason, and that is to fight evil and extend the sway of the power of good.
Back to the question of resting. I mean, I'm going to ask. I'm figuring that neither Orion nor Corjan brought their whole pack with them. That makes no sense. They were expecting a fight, so they probably left most of their pack back at the house we stayed at a bit. More than one of us needs to rest. How are we going to handle that? Is there a way to get, even extra blankets or something, some padding from somewhere?
I could probably go into the estate, see if I could find some extra blankets. But I won't stay very long.
Will the blankets make you crazy too?
No, I will check. I'll make sure.
Oh, okay. You'll get the not crazy blankets. Good, because I wouldn't want to ruin my chances for future turnings.
The two people who live probably north of you, Omar and
Teresa?
Darn it.
I am sorry. I don't know really anyone outside my property. Just those travelers who show up. So
if you see people wandering around, what would be a easy way to identify them? Yeah, ask them.
Fuzzy jumpsuit and bucket hat.
Fuzzy jumpsuit and bucket hat.
Oh, right, there is fuzzy jumpsuit. That's really that's pretty identical. That's pretty identifiable. Yeah. You see a guy wandering around in a fuzzy jumpsuit. He's a traveling companion of ours. You might want to point him this way. Torjan was injured in the fight, even though he was healed afterwards. He's going to go ahead and stack out on the available bedroll.
Okay.
Because it's like he's just done for the night. It's giant marsh creatures and giant ants and even gianter ants, and he used all of his magic and all of his items and gotten, and it's just, Torjan's just done. Needs to rest a bit. So he's going to lay down and try to get to sleep.
She says that she will head over to the manor and get some blankets. And she said, unfortunately, I cannot bring any food. I don't think I would trust any of it. I'm sorry, but she just kind of gets up and bows and just kind of walks up the ladder and opens the door and heads out. You can hear her walking on top, like on the, as some of the snow kind of comes through the cracks, and she takes off. She spots Synodog and the fuzzy jumpsuit bucket hat and Remy and Omar, and she said, if you're looking for your friends, I know where they are.
Hey, you wouldn't want to buy a fuzzy jumpsuit, would you?
Let me. They do look rather flattering on you. Maybe when I return. And she walks you over to, like I described, the foundation of the house, and she opens you hear some more footsteps, and she opens, and Synodog and Remy and Omar show up as they come down to the basement.
Orion goes, okay, did you guys leave Zophon back at the house? Is he resting?
Remy says, yeah. Him and Crispin. Teresa's taking good care of him. And then Omar says, yeah, with that. Okay. That's right. I forgot. Muddy D is back there with him.
We got a strange situation here. In short, we ran into more monsters after we left you last night. And between us and the help of Jenille there, we managed to put them down. But Jenille rescued Clintok and has him resting at the main house of the estate. But she firmly believes somehow that she and Clintok are going to get married and cleanse the estate of its evil. Have no earthly idea where that came from, but Karn, what did you discuss with her?
I was speaking with her in a language that only those who are as good as I would be able to understand, and confirmed that her intentions are indeed following the path of good and law. So if you were concerned that she might have nefarious plans in mind, be not concerned.
She's straight up, that doesn't mean she's sane. Are we doing this? I mean, are we following her plan of letting her marry Clintok and then cleansing the estate of evil with her? Because we do have, we've got time to get where we need to go, but we do have other travel plans.
I mean, I wasn't understanding that whatever you were saying, Karn. You were like speaking gibberish to me. But
yes, only those who have studied the ways of good understand Latin, or Pic Latin, as it's sometimes called.
Oh.
I look over at Basil X and goes, it's a church thing. You wouldn't understand.
Well, there's only one place I go on to a Sunday, and that's the Ring. So I guess that makes sense. But you know, I might not be the smartest person in the group, but she did seem like she was leaving things out.
That's why we're having this confab while she is out.
What happens if we help her get her destroy the evil, and then she gets the manor and the state and all the powers that go with it? Like, I don't know. It just seems like a power grab to me. I mean, that's what I would want to do if I would want to win. Get as much power as you could. Maybe her crazy brother, crazy father are just preventing her from taking that, and they're just kind of squandering it.
I generally trust your story, but ultimately her path is not ours. We have other plans, and Karn, didn't you say we can now use the other ship at the dock there?
Indeed, we can.
You said something
it's
about
important that we keep our word, but it's also important that we fight evil. Anywhere that we find evil in the world, it must be fought and resisted and spread the power good.
Yeah, but you're going to be fighting this evil versus the other evil, which is the one that we directly caused.
Why can't we do both?
Omar says, I would love to stay and have this conversation and to discuss this, but I would not get involved in any Wagonbow politics, anything involved. Already coming on here, I feel like I've been cursed. I'm sorry this has happened, but I think I will return home and check on your friends. If they will be kept comfortable and warm, and we will look after them as that is my word. But I would not get involved in any of this. You are asking for evil. That's all you're asking for. He gives a side look to Karn up and down, like, I don't think you should get involved in things like this. But I wish you the best, and we will take care of your friends. And he starts to walk away.
Karn would tell him that he completely understands that this is not the fight for an ordinary man, but we work for the powers of good here. He would stress that to him, although he doesn't know about the bounty on their heads. Now, have we found out there's a bounty on our heads yet?
Hint, neither of your characters has mentioned that rather important point to the rest of us.
Omar goes to head out, and you hear the footsteps like walking above you, and then you hear him come back and opens. He says, "You know what? I think I might hang around a bit for this Wagonbow to return. Maybe she can escort me out of the property. I don't know if I really want to travel by myself."
Basil Wilberforce is on Team Orion. He doesn't want to stick around here anymore at all. He is ready to go and join Omar.
Oh, great. Paul, your characters are pulling in opposite directions. This is going to be fun. Orion honestly didn't express an opinion. He asked the question. The problem is, if we let this marriage go on, it's going to be harder for Clintok to leave.
Well, now the marriage part of it is up to Clintok whether he wants to get married or not. We can't force him to accept a marriage he doesn't want.
Right. I mean, I saw the card. It was a chariot with the two in them. Good likeness too. Somebody is messing around, considering how good a likeness it was. We could try to convince her that her destiny is to go away. I mean, that is the chariot, after all, rather than stay and, fight her family's legacy. It's going to be a hard sell, and I agree with you. It'd be nice to know Clintok's opinion on this.
And Karn reminds the other Basil, he says, "Don't forget, this is a large estate. Assuredly, there would be large rewards, although I myself would not fight for such things. As a matter of fact, you could even split my share amongst yourselves, for I fight for good, and I have a penance to pay for lying."
I know my brother would want to help a hot mama in need. And I think Ethics would do whatever he could possibly do to do that. So we should probably go get him. Or, maybe I'll just have this hot mama for myself and Clintok. Well, we can work it out.
All right.
Only if she acquiesces.
Of course. I mean,
Clintok's been such a steady hand, as well as an amazing source of stories, that I was all for rescue. What?
You mean bullshit artist?
Oh, yeah. Amazing source of stories. Yes, indeed. Speaking as Orion, I really didn't want to leave him behind. And after what we saw of Jenille, chances of actually fighting her are shit. Personally speaking, it's probably the best idea just to go through with this. until we can get up with Clintok and see what he wants to do.
Well, one thing that Karn would be dead set on, whether we end up staying and helping her, is we aren't going to leave our companion spots. Either we all leave together, or we all die together. That's Karn's way, you know. Whereas Basil is, you know, obviously like, Clintok who? Like, he likes Clintok, but, you know, this place looks scary.
Yeah, about 2 hours pass and you hear footsteps. It's like noonish time. Jenille returns and she's got a huge like bunch of bed rolls and blankets and stuff, and she starts to set them down and kind of shake them out a little bit. And then as she shakes them out, you spot like 2 or 3 earwigs hit the ground, and she immediately stomps them out with her boot. It's like, oh, so sorry. And she begins to shake the bed rolls and towels out, and you can see that they are monogrammed with the W for Wagonbow. They're you can tell they are very expensive for towels and bedrolls, probably never used.
I call dibs on the nice bedroll.
I call dibs on anything. So, I mean, we've essentially been up probably a day and a half by now. So
sleep when I die, and Basil's already snoozing.
You'll be safe down here. No one will bother you. And then Omar's like, I'm sorry, ma'am. And they, you know, she does the introduction. He says, do you think you could escort me to the edge of the property? I need to return home. And she says, oh, yes, I will. I apologize. I will escort this fellow townsman to the edge of the property so he may return to his estate. It's not really an estate, just a little house. And she says, okay, I will return. You will be safe here. No one ever comes out here. And she leaves with Omar.
Ryan's going to, back out then, because truly he has to rest up. You know, it has been a day and a half, and it's been a hell of a long day and a half. So
okay,
he's going to try to sack out and get some rest.
We can say that you guys can do that unless there's something specific you want to do while you're getting ready to sleep. You're just, the fire's going, it's getting warm in here. Like I said, there's no food or water. There's a couple wine bottles that looks like they are very, very old in this basement. There's a couple knick-knack urn things on the mantle with some candles. There's her bedroll. There's the ornate rug that's got all the symbols of the gods. There is a picture, you would guess probably one of her great-great-great-great-grandfathers, that she has attempted to restore, but it is kind of fallen apart, and it's still kind of in the frame, kind of hanging up, but you can tell that some of it's been worked on. And that there is a gold, like, music box chest that has 2 keyholes in it that's like sitting next to her bed.
One, totally out of character. You do realize that Omar's probably going to go back there and mark us out.
Yeah, and I do realize that a couple of our characters haven't informed the rest of us that there's a bounty on our head. So I'm playing the ball as it lays, but somebody ain't swinging their clubs too well. Orion, instead of, thou shalt not leave Clintok behind, would be going, you know what? It'd be the smart thing to GTF, take that boat that we now have access to and GTFO. Of course, oh great, Zophon's our only remaining sailor, so he's got to be mobile in order to. Otherwise, we'll ground the damn thing almost immediately.
Cinedog, are you going to say anything about the bounty that has been mentioned?
There's a bounty on our head. Sorry to mention it, guys, but there's a bounty on our head. I'll just say it then.
Presumably, we actually got some rest.
Yeah.
And we wake up and he goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot to mention there's a bounty on our head."
Well, I didn't forget to mention I was kind of Yeah, there's a bounty on our head. That's all.
I mean, give the man a break. He was waiting
Uh,
for a day and a half. He almost died out there, just like the rest of us.
Remy's like, I don't, yeah, but on us, what are you talking about? They're talking about like, they were like black magic practitioners or something. We're not, that's not any of us. I don't know. You guys didn't burn down Clinkville, right?
No.
Right?
I'm pretty sure it's self-combusting.
the real problem is convincing the authorities of that. Convincing the people around us and the authorities of that is going to be very difficult. And we have other things we need to do. Of course, we didn't burn down Clinkville, and we're not black magic practitioners. You've seen us in action. But
Basil tells her,
again,
but I did see the Master of Treasury start a fire right by the docks right before we left. There was some building there.
oh, you did. God, you laid it on him, you bastard. But, really, the problem is they're going to want to round up everybody and drag them back, and it would take too long to convince them that we're innocent. So we just need to get going.
Well, let's get Clintok and leave them.
So if you're down any hit points, roll a D3 to recover those hit points, and that would include a Zolfan.
All right. Got a little bit back.
So it's the evening, still kind of off and on snow. She's been out, trying not to bother you guys, brings back some wood that she's throws on the fire and goes over to like the corner of the basement and pulls a lantern out and turns it, kind of lights it up, for you guys. And she says, well, I hope you've had a good rest. I brought, what was his name? Omar. I returned him. I let him off the estate so he could go home.
Did you sleep?
I rest when I need to.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, do you sleep?
Yes, I do. I don't have any need for it right now. There's too much at stake.
Paladins can't detect evil in OSE like another sets can.
I'm sure you've discussed what I've presented to you. What is your course of action?
We will, of course, stand by our friends.
Oh yes, and as far as your friend Clintok is concerned, I just need the ceremony to happen. He can go and do what he wishes afterwards. As once I am handed the powers and the rights over the wards of the Wagonbow Estate, he may leave and go on and do whatever he wishes. I need my father to see the marriage happen and grant me that power.
Does he not have the power after he grants it to you?
No, he will not have it. This is part of the traditions that were set by my grandfather. I'm supposed to take over. Of course, my sister tries to prevent this from happening, because once that happens, she doesn't get any more power, because of course she is married to my father right now.
Well, great.
Wow.
Oh, hell of a family. Never mind.
See, this is sounding worse and worse all the time. It's so sketchy.
Yeah,
she speaks lawful good.
These people are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for real. I guess the intent is to have us be guests of the wedding, backing you up just in case the sister tries anything, right?
Oh, she's done it in the past. Yes, I expect her to. It's usually right before the final words are spoken.
For dramatic
Really?
effect.
What is she? I mean, how does she interfere? Is she does she fight with weapons, spells?
Oh no, she uses the power of dark black magic.
Do you have any magics?
No, I do not. I don't possess her abilities. She is older, and my mother said that she was corrupted and there was no way that she would ever turn back.
What does Brutus think of her?
What does Brutus think of her?
if he gets near her, what is his reactions?
He like lays down and kind of like curls up and like lays like on her foot in a ball, like he's relaxed, like he wants to take a nap.
Stupidly, Karn is going to trust his dog instincts. I think we should help the guys.
Well, yeah, while other people are wandering around talking, Orion's going to wander up to Basil Wilberforce, and sort of lean in and, just very quiet voice in his ear. It's like, sounds like we found some black magic users here. If we need to, let's try to figure out how to frame them. I mean, if they're looking for black magic users, I trust you to help me hang a frame if we need to.
Oh, I think I follow exactly what you're saying. I think we can do this. I think we can do this well. I mean, didn't we meet these people because of the moth? Aren't they
Fair
in
enough.
with him?
We don't have a huge chance to plan. Too many people around, but be thinking on it, and let's see if we can work towards it.
That's kind of brilliant. If we can pull that off, that would be great. That would be a wonderful way to get the heat off of us.
So Orion's going to go over to Torjon and get the darts off of Torjon, because Torjon doesn't want to use those things again. And Orion's going to instead slip them to Basil Wilberforce and go, these might turn the tables if you can slip it into the magic users and they don't, suddenly turn into giants this time. You're the most likely guy to deliver them by surprise, shall we say.
We will proceed to the manor then this evening, and
can you speed this wedding up? We've got apparently we have a bounty on our head, unless you want to help us out with that.
What is this bounty?
Orion sort of puts his arm around Basil X and starts tightening up Basil X's. And it's a complete misunderstanding. We did leave just before there were some troubles in Clinkville, but it has nothing to do with us. The problem is that, the authorities are not going to believe that, and they'll want to detain us, and we have other things we need to do in a timely manner.
She looks at Karn and begins to speak in her lawful language that Karn knows. She says, I trust that if these are fugitives, that this will help on their redemption if they are to help me. I will help you in any way with this bounty.
To go back to something that was brought up earlier by Russell about him ignoring the glowing thing, and I put that down to Karn has an intelligence of 7 and didn't put 2 and 2 together. That there was mind control going on. Inside his wheelhouse, he's not stupid, but outside of his wheelhouse, he doesn't always catch on to some of the things. And this probably explains why some of those actions didn't faze him. Now, he knows he lied and he's paying penance for the lies that he told. But he truly doesn't think his friends are all that bad. But he does realize they've probably done some things that they need to pay penance for. So in that manner, he's like, everybody sins from time to time and nobody is perfect. But I do believe that my companions do tend towards good and not towards evil. And yes, it probably would help them atone for any of the things that they've done that were bad by helping you.
I will need you to officiate this ceremony. And she's now speaking where everybody can hear. She says, yes, my sister is the main culprit. The last two times she has foiled my attempts, but I believe that this time fate and the gods will it happen.
So to ensure that the cause of good sees its way to happening.
So why do you want this power anyway? Why don't you just leave? It sounds like your family is going to kill you if they get the chance, and it sounds like you have nothing here besides whatever corrupting force has taken hold.
I owe it to, she goes over to the painting that she's attempting to restore. I owe it to my ancestors who had good in their hearts, and my mother who took care of me, and I owe it to them to make things right. So many people have suffered on my family's account. I need to fix this, and running will just not solve that.
Because your dad will marry someone else?
No, because the corruption will continue and other people will be hurt, and it will just go on. It needs to be stopped. It needs to end.
Well, it's very noble of you. I hope it doesn't get you killed.
That is an interesting thing that you mentioned that. I cannot harm my sister or my father, and they cannot harm me. It is part of the wards that have been put on this, our family. So obviously that what did she? Yeah, she helped you fight that huge ant, right? Those ants. Yeah. She said those creatures I can destroy, but my sister or my father, I cannot harm them.
Right.
It's fishy.
Well, that's good to know.
Can Basil Wilberforce try to get any kind of insight into her motivations or anything like that?
Of course, yeah. What are you trying to figure out?
Basil's trying to figure out if she's earnest or if she is a devil in disguise, basically.
What kind of wisdom score does he have?
A really high 11.
So she seems genuinely focused on fixing this problem. She doesn't seem like she is trying to set you up. Basil's probably been around enough hustlers to know when somebody's trying to set him up. This is not a setup. She generally wants to fix things and believes that fate, that card, you showing up, this is going to happen this time.
Well, let's talk about where the wedding is to be held. Is there a specific room?
Yes, it's in the rear of the manor. It will be in the chapel.
Oh darn! I was hoping for a water feature nearby. Oh well.
Well, don't most chapels have holy water?
No, I
unholy water.
I would not touch anything. Oh, and the chapel is full of statues along either side. Do not go close to them. You risk them animating. So just stay in the middle of the chapel. Do not go to the edges. I believe that they are crafted to look like my ancestors, but they've been defaced by something. There's some sort of black ichor or moss or almost like graffiti that's been painted on them, and they will animate. So I would stay away from them.
Oh, great.
Wonderful.
We will go to the estate. You wish to speak to your friend Clintok?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Just be cautious and do not eat any. If you are offered any food or drink, do not take it. I don't particularly spend a lot of time at the estate. I live out here. Once my mother told me after she died, I make most of my time out here living. I occasionally show up in the manor just to be seen, but I don't spend a lot of time in there. But we will make our way. And then she goes over to the urns on the mantle. You can hear her saying some kind of prayer. She goes to one and then goes to the other. There's two of them on there. And she says some kind of prayer and blows the candles out.
Does Karn recognize the person?
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of like a prayer for the dead, like, may you rest, almost a prayer of regret, apologetic, sorry what has happened, almost like it's her fault. Puts her belt and her sword on and begins to head out. Says, we will go. We'll go see your friend Clintok. All right, so the marching order. Orion is going. Torjon, is he going?
Torjon will go. I mean, he stick around creepy place by himself? No. No.
Basil B is going. Basil W is going, I would assume.
Yeah.
Karn with his dog.
Yes, Karn with his dog.
Remy is going. Assuming Synodog is going.
Everybody else is back at the house.
Okay. Hop out. It's dark. She's got a lantern with her. You're walking through the snow, heading up to the estate. And you can see this manor is massive. There are some lights on in the estate, not all of them, but it's got like two wings with a bunch of domes in the middle. And she says, you don't go in there. That place is evil. That's the Arboretum. And she heads over to what she calls the West Wing. She says, we'll enter the West Wing and walk up. There's a couple like columns and like a fine ornate double doors. And she opens them and you guys begin to walk in. The first thing you notice, a sense of dread, unease. It's very for Karn, it hits you like a ton of bricks, and your dog stops right at the threshold, refuses to go in.
Well, he's already trusted his dog once. He looks down at him and tries to tug him. Come on, boy, are we going in?
Give me a 2d6 roll. Use your charisma. Give me you can add 2 points to give you a +2 since you have.
He's not trying to convince the dog. He's trying to see if
he's going to need convincing. He will not go across that threshold.
He stops and he looks at her and he says, tell me, I feel a sense of evil pervading this place, and I do believe Mr. Cromwell here feels the same.
Yes, like I said, there is a darkness over here. She says, I can take him back to the house, back to the basement, and he can rest there. He will be safe.
I don't think I trust leaving my dog alone somewhere.
Okay.
No, I'll see if I can cajole him.
Okay. 2d6, add your charisma +2. You know the dog.
I got 6, 3, and I've got +1 charisma.
So it takes some coaxing, and he cautiously walks into the foyer. It's dark. She's got her lantern, and as she's pulling her lantern around, you see what looks like bugs or something in the corner. And as soon as the light hits them, they skitter and like go underneath the cracks in the wall and the floor, and they're gone. She turns back. She says, okay, we shall proceed.
When they're sort of making a spectacle of talking about the dog, etc., I'll wander over again to Basil and say, Basil Wilberforce, and say, and just between you and me, if I wasn't clear about this, I think you should get the party started early and see if you can't take out the sister before shit goes down. I'll back you up. We know she's coming after us anyway. It's fucking stupid to let her get the first blow in.
Yeah, Basil gets it. He agrees with you 100%. Say no more. He starts to like wipe his face, and he's trying to make himself look more presentable, and
All right. She goes to the next wooden door. There's nothing in this room. As she's moving the lantern around, and more of the you see more insects like skitter along and go underneath in little cracks and crevices in the floor. And she opens the door, and there's at least a 40-foot hallway with a carpet that looks like it's in decent shape. It like a red runner. Doesn't look like it's not been destroyed. I mean, not a bunch of stains in it. And she walks over, and she goes like 20 feet, and there's a door that's slightly open, and there's a little bit of light coming out of it. And she's just like looking, and she says, that's where my uncle is. And she kind of like gives you a look like, my uncle, like, yeah, really. She starts to walk by the room, and the door is just slightly open, probably like, a foot.
Basil, of course, would go, oh, uncle.
Yeah, so Basil, you peek in and you see this huge room. It is lit by like this glowing orb that looks like it has like insects inside of it, but it's lighting up the whole room. The room has these nice ornate chairs that have been pushed against the wall, and there's somebody sitting in a chair, like side two, with a hat with a peacock feather, and there are two guards next to him in plate mail standing there. Kind of notices you looking in, and as you're looking in, you see that there's a man just standing there like this, wearing like boxer shorts. And in the center of the room, now you realize all the shit in the room has been pushed to the sides, and there's a boxing ring in the middle. And he says, "Oh, is that my newest challenger? Come forth."
Oh no.
Your uncle is your uncle into fisticuffs?
She turns around. She says, "What? Oh, that is his source of entertainment. I don't think. A challenger. 100 gold. You cannot go one round."
Oh, I will come back. Actually, we'll see how well he can. We'll let the dice decide how well he can resist. Above 50, he can. Below, he cannot. It's an 87, so he is able to resist.
"I will be here waiting. My dear niece, bring your friend forth. I'm sure this is part of William's entourage for his wedding. We will engage in fisticuffs later. What is this challenger's name?"
Basil.
"Basil. I will remember this, Basil. I will be waiting." She just sighs some relief, and as walks up to the door at the end of the hallway.
Your uncle seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, something like that. She walks up to the door and opens it, and the carpet kind of does a quick turn, and it's a long hallway. That 10-foot carpet goes all the way down, and there's doors on the left and right. And there's like a walkway at the very end. There's a walkway that goes over, like, so people, it looks like they walk up over and come back down, kind of like you would see, like, so you avoid like a main thoroughfare. It's like a catwalk, and then you realize there's a double door at the end, and you realize this whole room is full of like these tiny little squares that are mirrors, and it's full of mirrors. So when she has her lantern, it shines, it reflects all this light in this room. And there's a door like directly in front of her. She says, "We won't go that way. I will take you to Clintok, to William's room." And she says, it's there on the left." So she begins to walk down this hallway as her light is reflecting off all these mirrors. Everybody give me a D6 roll. Okay, so Basil.
Basil double got a 6.
Okay.
And Karn got a 6.
Yeah. And Basil Bessex got a 5.
Torjan got a 6, Orion got a 1.
Okay. I'm gonna roll for Remy. Synodog has got the 10-foot pole out. He's in the back. He's very cautious. As you're walking, Orion, you look. You can look and you can see everybody's reflection, the reflections of everything, and then all of a sudden the scene kind of changes. And you look and you realize you see people dancing in a ballroom, and then you're looking and then you realize somebody is behind you, like in the reflection. It's like a redheaded woman, and she just kind of looks at you and smiles, and then everything vanishes again, and you realize that that scene of you dancing was when you were in the Fae in that ballroom.
Oh, fuck me.
And then it disappears, and then you realize it's all, the group with the mirrors.
The problem is Orion failed his save. He does not remember anything in the save.
Oh, yeah.
Torjan made it. So if you're okay with this, what's going to happen is Orion's going to sort of look around and go, oh, that was weird as hell. It's like I saw a ballroom in the mirrors for a second, and Torjan's going to go, holy shit. We need to stay away from this hallway when we're leaving.
Okay. So Basil Bessex, you're walking, and then you're again looking, and then the scene changes. You're seeing a ceremony in like a chapel, and you see all these statues lining the wall. And you see this old man who looks like death warmed over. And then you see the old man like reach into under his shirt, and he pulls out what looks like a severed hand and begins to like hand it over to someone. And then you can see behind you like a raven-haired woman looking, smiling. And then the scene changes and you see everybody walking down the hall again. Basil Wilberforce, you're walking down there, the scene changes, and you see this old man. He looks like death warmed over. He looks like some kind of zombie, and he's wearing like fine robes, and he's with a woman who's got like hair that's like falling out, and she grins, and like an earwig crawls across her face, and she points her finger. You see some kind of black energy shoot from it, and behind you, you realize somebody's like watching you, and you see like a red-haired woman looking, and she smiles, and then the scene changes back.
And he goes, what in the hell was that? Did you see that?
I did. You saw
the old man look like a zombie? You saw that woman with the black stuff coming out of her hands?
I saw the old man, but not a woman with black stuff coming out of her hand.
Did he recognize any of them as anybody he's seen in the past?
Probably the woman in the black hair, yeah.
Because she looks like one of
the red hair, yeah.
Don't you remember the hags? They made me do weird things to the dragon.
Orion looks over and says, I thought that was a joke. You guys keep making this joke about me kissing a hag, but I don't remember that.
Oh, you kissed her, all right.
Mirrors are possibly gates to fairies. We need to not come down this hall again.
Let's see who's left. Torjan and Karn. So Torjan, you're looking, the scene changes, and you see Jenille. Looks like she is like fallen, but she gets up and she's got like some kind of like twine or something around her neck, and there's something around her neck, and she's walking towards a door, It looks like a glass door. And the whole everything above it is glass, and it's black, and it looks like there's black tendrils all over the glass. And she's walking towards the door, and she opens the door, and like swarms of insects come flying out. You realize somebody's watching you from behind, and you see a raven-haired woman, and she's kind of smiling. And again, the scene changes back.
Torjan looks at Jenille and says, "Are you sure you want to take over the power of this estate if it's corrupted? Wouldn't it actually be a danger to you to take the power if this estate is corrupted?"
She stops. She's like, it's a risk I must take.
And has she already been corrupted?
Karn, as you're walking down, you see the scene change. And you are in some kind of room. You see like insects flying everywhere, and these trees, these twisted trees that look like they have images of faces in horrible pain, like plastered on them. And some kind of figure emerges out of the insects, like standing tall, it looks like some kind of animal with horns or something, with a humanoid body. And you see like it has a green and a red eye, and they begin to glow at you. You start to physically feel pain for a second, and then you realize somebody is watching you, and then you see three images behind you, the three women, as they're smiling at you, and then the scene changes again, and your dog just kind of stops and is looking around nervously.
Dog's probably got more sense than the rest of us.
Karn stands up straighter. He throws his shoulders back even more and holds his head up and says, "I believe this room is a source of evil."
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Maybe we should take a minute here. And he looks at Jenille and says, "Any reason why we should leave these mirrors intact?"
What do you mean? Do you want to destroy all of them? I mean, this hallway is huge. I don't think we would have the time. I mean,
oh, it's that many mirrors?
Yeah, the hallway is like thousands of 1-inch square mirrors.
Oh God. Yeah, it'll take an earthquake on it.
It's not mirrors, it's mirror tiles.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I get it. It'll take an earthquake.
As she walks up to the door and she says, Clintok should be in here. So she begins to open it and, crack it open a little bit and kind of look in, and you can see that it is well furnished, and there's a person sleeping. And from your point of view, where you guys are, it looks like Clintok. His arm is bandaged like this, and he's kind of sleeping, and there's a nightstand. So you hear the door to your left open once you passed and close, and you as you look over, you see an old man. Some of you saw him in the reflection in the mirror at one point. It's the same looking man. He looks like death. He doesn't look like how is this guy still alive? His face is so withdrawn, and you can see his eyes sunk in, and he's wearing fine clothes, but they just look old, and they're just worn out from time as opposed to being damaged. And he shuffles over like a zombie and just walks over, and let's see. Let me just randomly roll because it's a lot more fun. Puts his hand on Torjan, slaps him on the back. Hey! And as he does that, Torjan, you're like, somebody hits you on the back, and you look at this guy, and then he slaps you, and you feel something, and some earwigs have crawled out of his cuff of his shirt onto you. And he's like, "Oh, this looks like William's entourage has arrived. He's resting well after soiling his oats in the far far regions of the Rokanar. And you accompanied him, I assume.
Yeah. We are we're his bachelor party. Can't you tell?
Oh, a party to be had. We will feast, and we will have games of sport, and this will be a rousing good time. And finally, we will wed these two long lost lovers together.
Ryan says it's usually the wedding and then the feast. Isn't that the way we're doing it?
No, we'll feast. We always feast. The servants will prepare meals. If you wish to eat now, we will go to the dining area. There are plenty of food.
We want to check on William, make sure he's ready for the night.
I would not disturb him. He's resting. He's been out in the world. That can wear you down.
Well, as we all have. But how are we gonna have? We can't have a bachelor party in the manor or in this house. We have to go somewhere else for the bachelor party.
The manor is immense. We'll pick. Would you like a specific room I could lead you to? Someplace that you would continue your revelry.
We have to talk to William first to see what sort of bachelor party he wants. If it were my bachelor party, I'd go hang out with your brother. Apparently, he's into sport.
Oh, yes, my brother. Oh, he's here?
I think. He occupies a room on one of the rooms that we passed.
Oh, yes, my brother.
We do suspect this is Janelle's dad, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. JR, he's my brother's here. Of course, it's of course for celebration. You, my friend, and he looks at Basil Bessex. You look like the type. He is a man of sport. Let's go. Let's go into the. Let's go talk to him now.
But it's Clintok's bachelor party. We have to get him up and then get him in the ring.
No, this is not Clintok. Who is this Clintok?
This is William's bachelor party.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah, William's bachelor party.
He coughs a couple times and some earwigs fall out of his mouth. Oh my. I suspect, yes. Oh, where's my lovely wife at? And he looks over at Remy. Ah, my dear, I didn't see you standing there. And she's like, what? And Janelle's like, father, that's one of the entourage. Just, oh, are you sure? What? And she's like, you guys should probably move on to somewhere else. I'm going to check on William, make sure he is okay. As he kind of shuffles, and she kind of like, because, oh, my dear, your friends, leave this entourage somewhere else. They could go and feast and go somewhere.
Can you give us a few minutes alone with William? We have to have some heart-to-heart talks, about life and what this, and I mean, this is more Karn's jam, but like the sanctity of marriage and what that means for him going forward. And like, this is stuff that it's entourage to entourage.
Oh, my. Yes, you'll have a minute. Oh, hold on. And he points like in the direction of that walkway. And you see somebody carrying like a tray, like walking up like along the side that you guys are on, there's some doors, and then there's the walkway that goes over, obviously, into another room. You see somebody come out, and he's like, he mumbles something, and the person, like, you see them stop and walk and come out a door and heading towards him with a tray. You realize it's a hobgoblin, a servant's outfit with a silver tray with, yes, more d'oeuvres, my friend, the entourage. Go speak with you. Yes. And he walks over to the tray, and you can see on the tray, whatever it is moving. And he snatches one, and he's like, he bites it, and it kind of splats all over his mouth. And he's chewing it. He kind of eats half of it and wears half of it. Delight, boy, yes. Have some.
Oh, we just ate. We couldn't bear to put another bite in us. Look like the same thing, though. It's really delicious. Hope you enjoy it.
Janelle's like, let's get inside. She kind of ushers you inside, closes the door. Okay.
I mean, she did warn us not to eat any of the food here, so.
Yep.
She said, yes, that is my father. Babylon Wagonbow.
Is he Babylon the Fifth?
Oh, he's the sixth.
I mean, he sure did babble on a whole lot. I didn't think he was ever going to shut up.
Yeah, I don't. He's out of it. As long as he thinks this is William, we're fine. I didn't see my sister anywhere, so she's probably somewhere in the manor plotting.
You say the sister's going to interfere with the wedding. How about the uncle?
No, he just is concerned about his games. He doesn't care. Uncle.
And is he completely blind to the situation in this place?
Who?
The uncle.
He is probably corrupted like everyone else.
It is good that you have avoided such corruption. But how do you feel you will be able to avoid it in the future?
There's Karn, there's no guarantee, but I have to take that chance.
Perhaps once you gain the power, we should just destroy this place, and you can join us and travel and spread the power of good.
I would consider all things, Karn, once things have been restored. So it is Clintok. He looks to be resting comfortably, sleeping.
Does he look like he needs any healing?
As far as like healing spells and stuff like that?
Yeah, laying on hands?
I would say no. He actually looks pretty good.
Okay.
He is bandaged up and resting.
Okay, I didn't know if I needed to take this opportunity to give him some hit points back.
Yeah, I will say you don't need to do that for him because he's been healed.
Okay, so at least you provided some healing for him. Okay.
Yeah.
He does, for staying inside the manor, doesn't look corrupted.
Well, he hasn't been here very long. I mean, he'll be okay. I mean, for tonight, for the rest of this evening, well, it's late night, so but I wouldn't risk it over a couple of days. It'd be too dangerous.
It's that fast, Tom.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't risk that food. Anything that fights you on the way down is not something I want to be eating.
Your wedding is tomorrow?
Yes.
Can we want to get married tonight? Your dad seems like he's up.
No, it has to be done at sunrise.
Okay, well, we have all night to be up then. It's not that long to wait. Well, as long as Clintok seems okay. Or William, rather.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a bed, the sheets and the blankets and the comforter, and it's like worth a lot of money. It doesn't even look like it's been used. It's got the monogrammed Wagonbow W on it. He looks like, an aristocrat sleeping there.
That's not the first time that we've noticed that this bedding doesn't look like it's ever been used.
Figuring by now the family is undead. I mean, earwigs coming out of the damn mouth. Come on.
Yeah, there's a clue there. They're either undead or a lot of this is just an illusion. And what we saw in the hallway with the mirrors was more like reality.
I really want to get back to the hags.
What does your sister look like?
What does my sister look like?
Yeah.
She has like black stringy hair that's kind of fallen out, and she's got black teeth, and her eyes are jet black.
A stunner. Do you have more than one sister?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Look over at Basil and go, what, you and Essex are thinking of double dating?
Not in this house. I was just curious.
Not in this house. Okay, fair enough.
What can you tell me about that hall of mirrors? I saw some. What do the mirrors show? Do they show anything?
I've been told they're supposed to reveal things, or you're supposed to see the past or the future or something, is what I've been told. But I don't know. I usually never see anything in them. As a child, I looked and I was frightened, and then I never would look. I always looked straight ahead.
Well, it's good to know. What did you see?
What did I see now or when?
As a child.
Just horrible images of death and people turning into insects and giant road creatures, and it frightened me.
As it
People
would
turning into insects. That's where the damn monsters come on this estate. I bet they're transformed people.
That's a nice piece of insight. Hopefully we don't become the next monsters.
Yeah.
Remy's like, I just saw Charlie.
Did he look different than when we last saw him?
No, I saw him. I saw him when you guys were fighting him.
Fighting him?
Well, obviously you were controlled by the hags at the time. But
oh, okay. Charlie Dragon. Right. Okay. Right.
But
some of us were definitely controlled by the hags.
She kind of sits down at the edge of the bed. Remy's like, we can't stay here all night. Can we?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, we're just gonna stay long enough for the wedding. A few other little exciting things that'll probably happen in the pre-wedding times, and that'll be about it. I don't want to spend the night here, but I sure would like to meet your sister.
Oh, trust me, you will. She'll be around.
I mean, it'd be a shame if something happened to her before the wedding ceremony came around, wouldn't it?
I mean, if there's any place that the walls have ears, it would be this place. Just be careful what you speak out loud.
Oh, I would never want to see harm come to her. I was suggesting that we protect her.
Yeah, she doesn't need to roll to tell that's a pile of shit that you're laying on. You guys begin to notice like some spiders, little tiny spiders, and like centipedes start coming on from under the door, and you can hear a rap on the door. Well, don't disturb William. Come on out. There's a feast awaits. If my name isn't Babylon Wagonbow, I'll invite you to the feast of the wedding thing that's going to happen.
We've got to have the wedding first.
It's the pre-wedding
Wedding, then
feast. The pre-wedding feast for those who have soiled the oats of the far lands with my dear son William. Come forth. I can't eat all these pickled fingers by myself.
Soiling oats is more of Essex.
I'll sidle up to Orion as Basil Wilberforce and say, any reason why I shouldn't just go ahead and take him?
Go ahead. Go ahead and what?
Take him out.
He's the one with the keys to the ward. They've got to be transferred first.
And
If it helps, he'll probably also have the keys to any treasury that exists.
You give me ideas.
They're not physical keys. They're powers that need to be transferred to Jenille first.
Are you sure they're not physical keys?
Pretty darn sure.
Yeah, my pickpockets is only 35 still. So.
We're freshening up with William. We'll be down eventually. Feel free to eat our share. We had a big dinner before we came here.
Oh yeah, I couldn't eat another bite.
Oh, such a shame. Well, don't disturb dear William.
Of course not.
You're the one making all the racket.
What do you mean?
Oh.
Nothing.
And then you hear him say, "Oh, dear wife, you've arrived." And then you hear him walk off.
Whoa. Dear wife has arrived? You mean the supposedly dead woman? Not that that would surprise me in this place.
Well, that's her sister is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basil W. creeps the door open just a little bit and looks outside and tries to catch a glimpse of it.
So you see him shuffling away down the hallway, close to where that walkway is, and there's a woman like standing there, and she's a good distance away, but you kind of catch a glimpse of her as she is like standing there holding a torch. And she's got ratty black hair that's fallen out, and she's wearing some kind of dress, fine clothing, but again, it looks similar to his, like really worn out. And she's standing there. She's like, "Oh, dear husband, don't disturb William." And she smiles at you. Come forth.
So she sees me.
Yeah, she smiles. Yeah, well, she smiles in the general direction of the door, and he's like shuffling along. And as he shuffles along, you can see some bugs fall out of his pant legs and scramble and skitter all along the floor and go under one of the doors.
These people. More and more, I can't believe we willingly walked into this place. A large-scale fire would do it so much good.
Yeah, it really would.
So how long have we got until the wedding? Are we gonna have to rest again or not?
Yeah, I would say it's around, what's winter time? Let's just say it's like 8 p.m. So you've got till like 7 a.m. So you've got around about, 10, 11 hours to kill.
Basil looks at Jenille and says, where's the supply room here? Where do you keep things like torches and lanterns, the food?
Well, the kitchen, she's like, I think the kitchen, I'm pretty sure it's down there. And I can take you to the linen closet that I got the stuff out of. I don't think if there's be anything in there though.
Where do you keep your lantern oil?
Like I said,
Don't be a little obvious, Basil.
Like I said, I tried to burn this place to the ground before and it didn't work.
What happened?
I tried to set fire to the arboretum, to the trees and the things that were growing in there, and it almost like it renewed it. It came back worse.
Great.
That's not a good sign. What about the manor house itself?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure what would happen. It wouldn't get rid of the evil.
Just floating this idea, guys. So we want to get all our group together. Since we got 11 hours, that should be plenty of time to go grab the others and get them back. And, even if it's just to stash them in Jenelle's underground hideout.
Oh,
we also might be able to buy some decent food and water off of the other people there, Omar and what's her name,
Teresa,
because we sure as heck can't use the stuff in this house.
Probably want to leave and come back if it's 11 hours.
That's a good idea. We should head back, get a little bit of rest, make prep, and then head out.
Grab some food and water off of our new ship or buy it off of Omar and his wife or whatever, but get some stuff we can trust.
I think that's a great idea. And we at least know that William is okay here, or at least will be
William
while we are away, presumably.
Do we want to leave William within arm's reach of the crazy ass sister?
That's a good question. I don't know if we have much of a choice.
I think if we leave him here, somebody has to stay with him to keep an eye on him. Jenille, is there a safer way off this plantation that won't run us into monsters?
I would have to go with you in order to avoid any random encounter rolls.
Random encounter rolls. Funny.
So yeah, if she goes with you, then she can lead you off the property. If you go by yourself, there will be some D12 rolls.
We know that all of those are damned ugly based on what we've seen. As much as I hate to suggest it, then it looks like split the party times. At least one or probably two people stay with Clintok to keep an eye on him.
Okay.
And the rest of us go with Jenille and pick up our supplies and our extra crew people and come back.
Send a dog. I'm not going out there, buddy. He's going to stay behind, and Remy will stay with him.
Remy, can you defend yourself if things go bad?
Oh, I know a few tricks. I'll do my best.
That's right. You got some help from your friend Charlie. That's right. So those two will stay, and the rest of us will go with Jenille and go pick up some real supplies and go, hopefully not rescue our friends, but get them out from under the thumb of Omar and wife.
Jenille is going with you guys to lead you off the property, and will ask like how long it's going to take, because she will wait for you to come back the same way so she can lead you back. Are you going to walk through the hall of mirrors? Are you going to look straight forward? Or are you looking at the mirrors?
Can we avoid the hall of mirrors, please?
You have to go through there.
Okay.
That's the only way out. But you can kind of look.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, my characters are literally doing that.
Okay.
Basil's doing the same, putting his blinders on, but
Yeah.
Karn's looking all around.
Okay.
Karn's afraid.
So
of nothing.
Karn, give me a D6 roll. And Basil,
Three.
Bessex. Yeah.
1.
Ones and sixes always scare me.
They should. So Karn, as you're looking around, you just see the reflection of you looking around at everybody at the party, and you see a red-headed woman, like as you're looking one way, you see her in the reflection, like looking behind you, and you look, and then you see the black raven-haired woman looking at you, and they vanish each time that you look around. Basil, you look around, and then you see it's you and your brother. Ethics is next to you, and you're arm wrestling some dwarf in like a blacksmith shop, and you beat him, and he's like, wow, wow. You can see him, he's moving his mouth, but obviously you can't, hear anything he's saying. And then you see like a raven-haired woman standing behind you, watching, smiling, and then when you turn around, she's gone.
That was a good day.
So she again has got her lantern. She leads you down that hallway, and you see like insects skitter out of the hallway as you're moving along ahead of the light, and she leads you into the foyer area, out the door, and your dog pretty much like pulls you like out the door. As he sees that door open, he just he starts pulling you, and you are outside, and you kind of all breathe like a sigh of relief.
Well, he's not on a leash.
Oh, okay. He's not on a leash. Then yeah, he bolted for that door.
Yeah, he's not on a leash.
Okay.
I trust the command words and all that stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, he bolts for the door. He's out. So Jenille leads you through the snow and the
Brutus,
sleet.
catch for Cromwell the Third. Heal.
Yeah, you see him stop. He's like peeing on one of the columns on the front. And leads you guys out, and she leads you through the up to the wall, and says, "I will wait. Just let me know how long you will be."
It's not far to the house because, for one thing, Clintok's fencing gym didn't have that huge array.
Right. Yeah, it's
really not, but we might have to hit up our quote unquote new ship and see what sort of supplies they've got. But that's not far. I mean, it seems like a couple hours is plenty of time. Head to Omar and what's her name's house.
Teresa.
I can't keep her name in mind for some reason.
It's Teresa.
Yeah.
Teresa.
Okay. So it is say 8. So it's like 9:30 in the evening as you're coming up. The lights are on. Zofan is resting. You can smell cooked stew, some sort of fish is cooking. Crispin is just kind of sitting there reading some kind of book with Muddy and his shovel. He's kind of nodding off in like a rocking chair. And guys on knock at they let you in, and she's happy to see you. Oh, well, help you. And she realizes that she's like, oh no, what happened? Because she realizes that not everybody has returned.
Ryan will step forward and say, "It's quite complicated. You're right that most of the people in the Wagonbow Estate seem to be well, there's no nice way to say this. It seems like they're almost corrupted by some sort of, maybe it's by even black magic. The youngest daughter has remained stout of heart and is trying to fight back against our family's legacy, and we intend to help her do that. If you ever see a lady by the name of Jenille Wagonbow, she seems to be the last decent member of the family. The others, I'm afraid you were very right. They're dangerous, possibly dark magic users.
As I told you, Omar, I told you there was at least one good one in that group.
But we have come back for, we dare not use the supplies there, so we have come back for supplies and to pick up our companions so that we all may help Jenille throw down the darkness that is that estate.
Where's the synagogue and Remy? Are they okay? Did they?
They're watching.
They're
watching over Clintok, our other companion. We didn't want to leave him alone, but they are fine, as far as we're aware.
For now, dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Some sort of evilness you'll be facing?
Great.
Indeed.
I felt it walking in. It felt like the worst cheater I've ever run across in a match, but 10 times that.
Told you. She said, I told you, Omar. I told you.
It was the greatest people I've ever experienced. I must put an end to it.
Yeah, she looks at Karn, of course. Well, there's a chance to set things right, then. We can't sit idly by. She walks over and takes the Hoorok Thunderstick off the mantle and grabs a rag and begins to polish it, like she's wiping it down.
Oh, don't tell me she's going to try to follow us. I mean, not that it would be bad, but I'm not going to suggest it.
I'm wondering whether or not some of the dark magic in this place like seeped into Clinkville and caused the uproar.
You're right. I wondered. Oh, I bet they're the ones that tried to burn it down.
Probably.
He must have been in league with Bot.
So, based off of the brief experience that we had, it seems the only plausible solution or explanation.
Oh boy! Orion just keeps quiet. He can't touch that without cracking his face.
Teresa's like, you spoke to Omar, you spoke to Marcos. We spoke to Marcos earlier. He said that if there was something that happened on the estate that they would bring soldiers. But in a few days, maybe we can get the soldiers out to the estate.
I don't know if they would survive the estate, but it's pretty dangerous in there. And I was barely able to survive without getting into a boxing match, which, this was really tough for me. I think this place is number one on the list of suspects for the uproar in Clinkville. Whatever happened there, this rebellion, black magic.
There's a lot of gold piece bounty that would really help. Looks at Omar. Really help us, Omar, if we could capture whoever this was, bring them to justice. You see her walk over.
Honestly, man, these are dangerous. These are quite dangerous people. I strongly suggest you defend your home, but as far as fighting them, you should at the least let us be the vanguard.
We could probably bring you the culprits. We'll do our best. Is it okay if we just bring their heads?
I think you're going to need all the help you can get. And she pulls out some kind of like leather armor that she starts to fasten to herself.
I sort of look at Omar and just shrug. I'm like, sorry, I tried, but because I know he doesn't want her going. But yeah, while we're here, we also need to pick up some supplies. Karn, didn't you say the captain arranged for us to swap ships? We need to take a quick look at the ship and see if there's some supplies on there. Otherwise, we might need to get a few basics from Omar and Teresa.
Like lunch?
Yeah, like food and water, because food and water are not safe on that place.
Omar's like, the ship's still out there if that is your ship, if that's what's been said.
Yes. And we need to bring back as much goat jerky as we can, because the goat meat on there is going to be probably not real goat.
One of our companions had made an arrangement and paid many golds or something. He did something, and the crew of that ship left with him and left us in possession of this ship instead.
Okay, so let's go check out the ship.
Okay. The ship is duly named Happiness Begins. It is a one-mast sailing ship, similar to yours, without a blast hole from a fireball in the back of it. It has like standard supplies and some clothes and...
How about oil?
Like flasks for oil?
Lantern oil.
Lantern oil? Give me a D6 roll.
Great.
So yeah, you find 3 flasks of oil.
Basil adds them to his pouch. I mean, he had a few, but he doesn't like getting low.
So there's not any like magical treasure or any gold on here. Like, it's kind of just basic items. So mundane items you can find on here. There'll be some rations and some water and stuff like that.
He puts the 3 flasks of oil in his pouch. Maybe grabs a little bit of linen or something for some rudimentary Molotov cocktails.
Since we're back this time, I'll eat and drink and grab a couple of sets of rations and a flask of water just for later. And this time when I leave for the mansion, I'll have my full pack on. I'll drop it at Jenelle's, little hidey hole. We're not going to be tromping around at a wedding with full pack, but I want my stuff close at hand.
Zofan, you're going to bring him along and have him rest at Janelle's?
Yeah.
How is Zofan looking?
He looks rough. He can travel. You probably have to, take a little bit of time, but he can travel. And Karn doesn't move that fast anyway because of his injury.
Yeah, he left his horse here.
Right.
He'll take the horse to Janelle's.
Omar says that they can take care of the horse. You don't have to take it through the marsh. He doesn't recommend doing that.
Well, we've got
you have to come by here anyway. This is where the ship is.
True.
Yeah, but if we're trying to de-ass that situation with the quickness, Arnold slows down if he doesn't have the horse nearby.
True.
And we've got a way for safe passage through the marsh right now.
True.
If she's with us when we leave.
We might need the get out of Dodge quick option.
Yeah.
Zofan pipes up. I can well enough to travel. I could. It sounds like Clintok could use all the help he can get. I would hate to leave and not do my part and just sit here and rest. And he kind of gets up and kind of like wobbles a little bit, but then he kind of steadies himself, takes a couple deep breaths, and then like starts walking. And like, you can tell that he's able to at least he's able to stand and he's able to have his wits about him, and he's willing to go.
Okay.
Would he be aided by some of that healing potion, one of those healing potion doses that we got? Or has he already got the hit points back that he can get?
He would be aided by healing potion. He's got like 3 HP.
Because Karn can give him one. Yeah, Karn would give a dose of that.
Okay. What is it?
1d6 healing.
Yeah, 1d6 healing.
Man, it's way better than long rest. You know what? I'm going to use hustle point because I rolled a 1. That's a 2, so slightly better. Two hit points back.
We said each pack had what, 6 doses in it?
Each bottle has 6 doses, and Karn bought 2 bottles.
No, Karn bought 10.
Karn bought 10?
Yeah, he spent a silver.
Oh, okay. Well, good for him. Well, no, good for us.
Yeah.
So is Karn gonna, if Zofan isn't up to full, is Karn gonna cough up another dose then?
Yeah, he'll give him another dose.
All right, I'm gonna use different die this time. It's a 3, but that's good enough. Yeah, he's rocking 8 out of 10 right now, so that'll do.
Okay.
He can get hit at least once, you hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, acrobats don't really have much. You know, they're pretty much a 1 hit and then they're over.
Yeah.
Class anyway.
Yeah, they're not exactly what we'd call a tank, right?
They're essentially specialized thief class.
Well, I guess Basil would try to talk ethics into joining, saying that they have the chance to help some hot mamas. But ethics would refuse on the principle that he has his own he has a hot mama back at home that he's been pining for.
Wow. Staying faithful to his hot mama, huh?
Which would surprise Basil because he's rarely mentioned that he actually like found someone.
Yeah. Basil is asking Ryan, he's like, didn't you want us to throw the mod under the bus? I mean, if we set that up and we hang that frame on these people here with the mod, you know, he seemed an unsavory sort, right? Well, he's the unsavory character in the party.
Pretty sure he was embezzling, so I wasn't worried about throwing the mod under the bus so much as, you know, finding some black magic to give the Empire some actual black magic users to aim for, which it seems like we did.
Yeah, let's hope that works.
Oh, I don't expect it to work. I expect it to slow them down long enough for us to get further away. That's the thing. That's the thing about it, you know? It's not that you expect the plots to work. It's that you expect them to slow your enemies down so you can get the heck away from them.
Yeah.
Of course, this is being said in confidence, you know, aside from the rest of the party, because they might not feel quite the same. Actually, can I have one of those darts back? I need a trump card, even if it's a lousy trump card. I'm seriously suggesting that as soon as we get the chance, you knife or dart the sister in the back, and we'll start the festivities that way.
Oh yeah, that's what Basil Wilberforce is going to definitely be trying to do. He was trying to use his new knife in the combat with the ants, and the chance got taken.
Oh, that's right. You got that damn burning knife.
Yes, and it's burning a hole in his hand to try it out in a backstab.
Give me those darts back. I need a trump card just in case.
Zolfan, since he's not like in particularly tip-top shape, he would give you at least a dart of one of his.
Well, no, I forgot Basil Wilberforce had his, extra special knife. I want those darts back as a trump. But if Zofan wants to hand me one, that's fine.
So as much as Omar would kind of, give Teresa a hard time, Teresa's pretty much set on going. Omar got to go last time, so it's only fair that she goes this time. So she's got her leather armor and her Rock Thunder Stick that she's going to bring.
She's better prepared than him. She's got a weapon and armor. She
fastens like some kind of dagger to the end of this thing. Ethics will come with you, and he'll stay at Janelle's as reinforcements. And then Crispin definitely wants to go because he finds out that Remy is in the manor with Cinedog, but kind of left behind. So he definitely wants to go, but Muddy wants to should one of us stay behind with Omar? Because you're going to come back to the ship, right?
Yeah. Why don't you stay behind, Muddy?
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, I can do that. He's like, oh, no problem. He puts his shovel down and sits back in the rocking chair and right next to the fire, smells the stew some more. Yeah, I could handle this. Crispin's like, okay, good. I will join. I will go with you.
Just doing my duty.
I was going to drag Crispin along anyway by pointing out Remy was there. So I'm glad he beat me to the punch.
You get whatever, food and water out of the ship, and
I got my basically full pack. I'll leave most of it except for combat load at Janelle's little hidey hole. But it occurred to me that if those soldiers move fast enough, they might get to the ship first, and I want to be able to, go over land if we have to.
Okay.
But in any case, so while we're going up, I will turn to Teresa and Crispin and basically go, okay, there's a whole complicated mess of the situation. Introduce them to Janelle and go, basically her father still holds all the keys to the wards and the powers on this land. She wants to take them over and use her control to purge the land. But in order to do that, she has to marry. And unfortunately, her father expects her to marry her brother, so we set up a subterfuge where she's going to instead marry Clintok, who is masquerading as her brother. Please do not blow that subterfuge out of the water. Janelle is absolutely sure that there will be interference, in particular the sister, who has interfered before, and I am not exaggerating here, expect black magic. The father, I don't know whether he is simply insane or whether he is also a black magic user, but in any case, we want to leave him alive until Janelle marries and he turns over the various powers on the estate.
Okay.
The uncle is a wild card. The uncle has 2 guards, and we have no earthly idea what he intends. And by the way, when you see the father and the sister, I strongly suspect they may actually be undead because they sure as hell don't look like living people anymore.
So yeah, the place is cursed, and don't worry, we've already talked about burning it to the ground, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna.
Apparently, that didn't work.
Yeah.
So try to burn the arboretum down.
I just want you to know straight up what you're getting into, and also to play along until Janelle can get the powers of the estate and hopefully use that to help cleanse the place.
Apparently, her and Karn talk in a language I've never heard of, but they say it's something. Karn says it's something about like a good good language or whatever. And she can understand it.
Grace is like the language of love.
I say something to her in that language. I say, well, you know the language of which I speak, don't you?
And she responds, yes, I do.
That language. You share it as well.
It's been a while. You don't see much of it out here. She said, except for the, for Marcos and the guards from Hexor's crossing.
Don't you know it's rude to talk in a language other people can't understand?
My friends, they lean the right way, but they haven't quite seen the light yet. I'm working on them. I think they have potential.
I catch words.
Catch words.
O'Brien just passed Basil. Basil X on the back. Goes, it's a religious thing. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Ugh. I swear I catch words sometimes, though. Like victory.
So Teresa is very much into the story and kind of nods like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. Because she's heard rumors and strange things. So it looks like you're affirming everything that she kind of suspected or gossip she heard, or she's like, oh, okay, yeah. And then, you head out. I need somebody. Let's see. Paul, give me a D12 roll.
D12. All right. 4.
The snow begins to cease, eventually, and you're walking through kind of a mist as it begins to warm up a little bit. And you see Jenille waiting there, and the glow is just around her, like she looks like some sort of celestial being. And Teresa kind of looks at you and she says, well, Omar wasn't lying. She is a looker.
Basil will nudge ethics.
Well, that's a hot mama. You got your hands full, brother.
She's currently betrothed to Clintok, but
you want me to do this? You want me to do something about that?
No, I I'm gonna be the bigger man and let him have her.
Well, you're better than me, brother. I wouldn't give him that choice.
Well, I haven't found the right one, and I definitely know one checkbox.
Yeah, I know, brother. It's the commodious first class. Don't worry. She's out there.
One day.
So Jenille is happy to see that you brought reinforcements, and leads you to her little, basement area where she stays. And so who are you dropping off here?
Zofan.
The horse.
Okay, the horse is going to be there. Zofan.
Essex, probably.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it might leave the Brutus there too.
Okay, Brutus is there.
Probably going to be in pitched battle, and I don't want him to get hurt. How far is Jenille's from the manor?
About a quarter of a mile.
Did we see any animals there? Any mounts or anything while we were there? Stables, barns?
Nope.
I was gonna say Zofan is gonna give he's gonna give a few items to Basil. Basil beef.
Okay.
Magical items, since he's not gonna really use them. Right now he's concussed and has a -4 on all rules, which will be not good against anything that will probably be in that manner.
That's not gonna work too well.
I would say that is a wise choice, considering, yes.
So he's gonna give Basil his 2 throwing darts, his healing potion, and Copper Willie.
Okay. Yes, Copper Willie.
Copper Willie.
Yes, it's this person named Willie, but it's a pixie. It's covered in copper and it's like screaming, like yelling, and it's like in that formation. Zophan's used it before, but it has some magical abilities too that can come in handy.
All right, so we got Orion,
right.
Torjon, Basil, Karn, Remy and Cinedog are in there, Crispin, and Teresa.
Basil W gonna cough up at least one of those darts back.
He doesn't have any darts.
Oh, I passed them to you to use as a trump, but I'll keep them. I'll have them.
Oh no, he won't keep a hold of them. If you want to.
That sounds like a Basil answer. You never gave them to me.
What dart?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying the other Basil, so I didn't write it down or anything like that.
Not the other Basil.
No, not
the other Basil.
You can have them both back. He doesn't.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
They're nice trumps, Yeah. If they work right this time around, they're nice trumps.
No, they require a little bit too much bravery.
I also just as a point, he's going to take the animal fur cloak from Zophan. So then we head with Jenille back to the manor.
It's like 1 a.m. So she says, we'll head over there now and check on Clintok and the others.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
So again, you walk up to the front and enter, and that feeling of unease, dread comes over you as you walk in, and there's the foyer area, and she of course has the lantern, and the insects skitter away as the light hits it, and she opens the door to a hallway that was cracked open. This time the door is wide open. As you go by, you see what Bessex saw, the boxing ring and all the chairs pushed back, and a man with a cap with a peacock feather sitting in a chair with 2 armed soldiers next to him, and somebody just standing there in the boxing position. And he's like, is that Basil? Is it match time?
It's wedding time.
Yes, aren't you coming to the wedding?
A wedding? At this hour? Outrageous.
Love will not wait.
I have 500 gold that Basil cannot make it 1 round with my champion.
Who's your champion?
He points to the guy who's just frozen in this pose he's wearing like boxing shorts.
Basil's gonna size him up. Does he look like does he look tough?
He looks muscular. He's got it's hard to see from this distance. He's got kind of you're not sure if it's the light, but he's got kind of like a gray skin.
Oh, fuck. I lean in close to Basil and say, it's a trick. It's not a living person. The flesh golem.
Flesh golem? Do they eat flesh? Or does like
no,
that?
It's like a stone golem, but made of flesh.
Has Basil heard of a flesh golem?
Yeah, you've heard of golems. If he is, he's kind of short for one, because he's about average height.
Orion doesn't know. He's just trying to get Basil from being distracted by this shit. Mind you, I put it at least 50-50 right now, if not 75-25. Because the way the guy's standing too still, like I'll lean even closer to Basil, and he's a cheater.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to lose to a cheater.
Uh-oh.
How do I know you're not going to cheat?
You have my word as Jacques Rene Wagonbow. I am not a cheater.
Jacques
Jacques Rene.
Rene.
Great. That backfired on me badly.
Yeah, you said exactly the wrong thing, didn't you?
I'll accept your challenge.
That is
Here we go.
quite honorable of you. Come, take seats.
And
Come
he
in,
pulls
come in.
pulls out his iron knuckles and starts cracking and starts doing his warm-up routine.
Great. I said the wrong thing.
And then he's like, I gotta have my coach with me at all times. And he plants his rabbit flag in the corner.
Oh.
Talk about cheating.
When you walk in, there's a door on the far end, on the east end, that opens, and Babylon Wagonbow comes staggering in there with a silver plate in his hand. Oh, there's something about the recreational activities have begun. And he walks over and kind of leans up against the chair and pulls something as it's moving in his hand. He's trying to eat it and he's struggling and he drops it. And it like clings onto the side of his cheek, and he pulls it off and jams it in his mouth and eats it. Begin, let the fighting begin.
When your food tries to eat you.
Are you guys going in to watch?
Yeah, we gotta back up our idiot. Friend.
So he's like, go ahead, enter the ring, because the guy's sitting there in the corner of the ring just like this. He has not moved. He hasn't looked at you. You got to look at him. He's fairly cut. He has no hair. His skin is like gray. And he's like bald. He looks humanoid. He looks human. Is he human?
I'm looking at him. Is he breathing?
No.
So is it the first one who gets knocked out of the ring, or
The first one who is knocked out will be the victor.
he doesn't look like he can be knocked out?
Oh, I assure you.
In the sense that he doesn't look like he is physically able to be knocked out.
Enough blows and he will fall. Sure, this is not a fixed match. Jacques Rene Wagonbow does not hustle. You wish to fight? Let us begin then. Basil. So I assume you guys are in the ring. All right, we're going to roll initiative. I rolled a 4.
5.
All right, you're up first. So you enter this ring, this makeshift ring. He stands there. He looks at you, and he has 2 guards standing next to him with halberds. And he sits there and he says, "Fight." And you see this guy begin. He starts to look around. He's got his arms up. You go first.
All right. Basil is sitting there, or he's standing there with his iron knuckles, cape blowing in the still dusty wind, or not cape, but his animal fur cloak. Paint the picture. He's wearing his like linen kind of cut off t-shirt that's you can clearly see his one large arm, and like his other small arm is kind of off, not accentuated, but he's got like this very kind of rowdy buccaneer look, especially like this fur cloak makes him look ridiculous. But he steps forward and he's like, "Well, it's hammer time." And that's a 6.
He's not moving very much, and you just kind of swing, misjudge where he's at. He comes back at you with a punch. Let's see. 12, that would probably be a miss.
It's a miss.
He jabs at you and misses.
While they're fighting, Basil W is going to sort of surreptitiously creep around back behind the two guards, slowly sidling up behind them.
I will help. I will look around at my companions and go, "Come on, let's give our friend some encouragement. Come on, Basil, you can do it. Hit him hard."
That's what I'm trying. This guy's too fast.
Do you want to roll initiative after each time, or do you want to just say like 3 rounds and then we'll...
I think 3 rounds. Otherwise, it'll get...
Yeah, so you go. Go ahead. You go.
All right. He's going to go for another spin. That's a nat 1.
Oh no. You do have a hustle point.
I use the hustle point to re-roll one of the...
Oh.
One of the
okay. So give me a D100 roll.
83.
Oh.
Well, there was a 1 in 20 chance.
So you're using brass knuckles?
Iron knuckles.
Iron knuckles. And you go to punch, and he kind of like blocks them, and you miss, and the iron knuckles snap off and fall to the ground. They have been damaged.
Oh, that's not good.
He goes to hit you with a 21.
That's a hit.
You take 4 damage. Now he's going to knock you out, so it's not you go to 0, you're dead.
Okay.
So he pops you 1, and then you go one more time, and we're going to call that a boxing round.
That is that's a 14.
His AC is 15, and he comes back at you with a 15.
It's a miss,
and he misses. And that is the complete boxing round. And Jacques Rene's like, "Well done, Basil." And he reaches into this pouch and he pulls out a sack of coins and drops them on the ground. "You've done well. I would say another 500 if you can make it another round with my man." So he's given you the option to step out or continue.
He's Basil's gonna look at the money first.
It looks like 500 gold pieces he's just dropped on the ground next to him.
I can take another round.
All right, we'll roll initiative. I rolled a 5.
You can do it.
That's a 5.
You're up.
I'll start up cheering. It's like, uppercut, hit him harder.
He's gonna dodge. Now he's just swinging with his bare knuckles, and that's a 19.
That's a hit.
And dealing 3 damage as he makes solid contact and clocks him across the jaw.
All right, he comes back at you with his natural 1. Threw him off. Just a 5. So yeah, he only embarrasses himself. You go.
Yep. That's a 3. Not a
nat 20.
Oof.
Oh.
So that is going to be 5. That's going to be 8 damage.
Ow. That hurts, but Basil is still up. Although he's got some blood rivulets coming down from his nose, where he got clocked.
And Jacques Rene's like he's on the edge of his seat as you stagger, and he's like, "He still stands," and he reaches in his pocket, and he throws some more coins on the ground. "Well done."
Is that round 3 too, or round 3?
No, the round's not over. You got one more.
That's a 13.
That is a miss, and I rolled a 17 to hit.
AC is 17.
Yeah, that's going to be 3 damage.
All right, he's still up.
He pulls more coins on his pocket, drops. There's a pile of coins on the ground. He says, "I think you're in another 1,000 gold pieces. One more round."
I've got a wedding to get to.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough.
And Basil's gonna go and to collect his winnings.
Yep. You have 1,200 gold pieces.
Nice. That's 2,400 gold for Basil.
Damn.
And he looks around the rest of you. Anybody else want to take on my champion?
Too tough for me.
And he says, stop. And the thing just stops and walks back into the corner.
Good fight.
I'll pat Basil on the back and say, great job. Great job.
Jacques Rene is rather impressed. You last 2 rounds with his champion. He is happy to give up the gold. You're a worthy opponent, Basil. Worthy opponent. Much better than the others who've come through. Much better.
Well, your fighter is, your champion is, he's a strong one.
Yes, he is. But we'll be here if you wish to fight again.
What manner of creature is he? I haven't seen one of his kind before.
He is a champion. He's not no creature.
Yeah, but what is he, like a goblin or human?
He looks at you like you're asking him some question that he has no understanding what you're talking about. He's just a champion. I don't know what you mean.
Never mind. Thank you for the match. I'm ready to go upstairs now. We have a wedding to get to.
Oh, yes. Oh. He just kind of sits back in his chair. Babylon he gets out of his seat, comes walking, as you see, he gets out of his seat. He leaves like an impression of insects that sort of skitter around off of his chair, kind of like an outline. And he's got that tray and he kind of staggering over. What a fight! What a job you've done! Here, complimentary. And he's holding up the wiggly little thing in his hand.
I have to stick to this training diet.
I'll look at Crispin and Teresa, who haven't seen this before, and sort of quietly say, if it isn't obvious, don't touch the food or the drink here. When we're headed into the Hall of Mirrors, do not look into the mirrors. You will not like what you see.
So yeah, he's kind of staggering over, and he stops at one of the guards and starts talking to him. So you guys leave. Janelle's like, we out of here now?
Yeah, let's go. Please.
Okay.
We've got enough trouble here.
You headed back to William's room?
Need to check on the rest of our peeps.
Okay. Okay. Is everybody shielding their eyes, or is Karn doing his normal, I'm going to look around and I'll give 2 shits?
Karn is not scared of a thing.
Okay, roll D6.
Damn.
6.
So everybody's shielding their eyes except for Karn, looking around like, yeah, kiss my ass. So Karn, you see this swarm of insects everywhere. And you see in front of, like, you're here, and then in the image, it looks like Crispin and Teresa are ahead of you, and Teresa's got that thunder stick, and she goes to jab at something, an outline of a humanoid with horns or something, and you see this like red eye sort of like flash, and a minute she's standing there trying to stab it, and then she quickly begins to transform into looks like a black tree. And then you can see like the impression of her face in the tree, like she's like screaming in horror. And then the image begins to fade, and you can see a blonde-headed woman smiling behind you, and she vanishes.
Uh-oh. This is how those monsters are made.
All right, so you're
This is going to be such a clusterfuck.
You enter Clintok's room. You're all piled in there.
Yeah.
Karn does not fear it, though.
Janelle is like, okay, so what should we are we going to wait it out here?
Yeah, I need to rest.
How long until the wedding?
It's going to be like another 3 or 4 hours.
Time to take a nap.
Basil's got 6 HP left. So he is gonna.
Wow, big stuff.
He's got 22 total.
Damn.
But that
Fighter
comes back
type, I
faster
guess.
than regular damage, doesn't it?
What?
That would have to, because it was meant to knock you out. So
Yeah, subdual damage comes back in a couple of hours or something, I think.
I will say a D3 every hour.
Okay. So we got 4 hours.
Yeah, roughly 4 hours.
2 plus 3 plus 3, 6, 8. So he gets 8 HP just by resting.
You guys rest for the entire. You're not bothered. There's no random encounters here in William's bedroom. You're all kind of
Except
packed.
for the occasional earwig.
Right, bug that comes through.
Earwig
Yeah, you hear Babylon, Wagonbow mumbling something in the hallway at different points. Jenille is like, I think it's time. One way is to go through the Arboretum, which I'm not going through. I think it's much too dangerous for us. We're going to have to take an underground passage in one of the rooms just to the west here. We just have to be very, very cautious. I don't know what's in there. I don't travel these rooms much, so we just have to be very careful. So she goes up to the west wall of this, gets Clintok up, and he's got his arm bandaged. She goes up to the wall and kind of feels around and presses on it, and the door kind of slides over as it's a secret door. She's like, follow me. And she heads into this bedroom that has a fireplace. It's bigger than Clintok's room. And there is a large ornate bed with the 4 posts with a curtain around it. And you can hear something in here is snoring really loud. And she's like, just be very quiet. As she walks around the bed. I see Paul's sigh. This is his trying to decide whether Basil Wilberforce is going to find out what's behind curtain number 1.
No, I was just thinking that you just told a man wearing full plate mail to walk quietly.
Right.
So I just had this image of Karn just daintily stepping as quietly as possible. Clank.
Okay.
Clank. Clank.
So unless you're going to do anything, whatever it is continues to snore.
Basil's gonna not try to wake the sleeping giant or whatever is behind this thing.
Okay. It does not wake up. She goes to almost a very similar spot, on the wall. It starts to mess around, and a door slides open, another secret door. And she enters this other room, and there's a bed, of course, and there's something sleeping in the bed, and it has the head of a lion. It looks pretty big, but it has a head of a lion. You can see it sleeping, and right next to it on the nightstand is this jeweled crown.
Oh boy.
And Orion immediately goes to grab Basil W's arm and hisses out quietly, "Don't even think it."
He was already heading in that direction. He's like,
"It will wake up, it will eat you, and I will laugh. Don't even think it."
but.
On the way out.
Basil's strong
speed.
enough to fight Orion. He gets dragged through the room.
Okay.
Karn picks him up by the other arm.
I am going to roll to see if the thing wakes up. Yeah, it is still asleep. As she walks over to like the corner of the room and moves like this ornate rug back, and there's a trap door. She kind of pops open. She's like, quick, hurry. And leads everybody down into this wet underground passage. And it takes you guys like 20 minutes to walk through here. It's very dark. It's very narrow. You're kind of hunched down a little bit. And you guys pop up in another bedroom, but it's really small. It's like enough room for a bed and like a nightstand. And it doesn't look like it's been used. Everything looks like nobody's ever used sheets, anything. Kind of pops up. She moves like the little small piece of the rug away. She kind of opens the door and peeks out. You guys walk out into this large chapel. You see all this stained glass going, and all the stained glass looks like it's dirty. It looks like there's black spider veins going all through it. So it kind of mutes all the colors. There's pews, and they look like they've got nice cushions, and they're oak carved. The wood is like a parquet floor with this beautiful pattern on it. And there's a line of these statues, 12 on either side, that go all the way down. And at the very end of the hallway, you can see 2 double doors and like glass, and it looks black and like something's flying. Like that's the entrance to the Arboretum. And you can see it's like black flying something in there.
Like we can see something flying, or like there is
like you see black specks. Yeah, you see like black specks and stuff. As This room is illuminated with some sort of magic or spell or something that just illuminates this whole room. As you guys are standing there, and she says, "Don't get too close to the statues, whatever you do."
Right. They'll animate, come after us.
Right. And looking at them, they look marble, but like she said, they've been like graffitied or something. And it looks like they've got like black moss or something growing on them. Or they've had like black paint that's distorted their figures, their faces. And the double doors in the far end swing open. And it just like erupts all these black flying insects go everywhere into the chapel, like flying around. They don't come near you. They sort of like stay in the same area as Babylon and his wife, Natel, come walking out, and there are like 4 guards next to them in full armor come walking behind them. And as the doors begin to close, that swarm of insects just comes back down, and like gets sucked back into the Arboretum, and the doors closed. And he kind of is like staggering forward. And as he's staggering forward, he's leaving a trail of insects behind him that skitter on the floor, and they go to either side of the chapel. And he takes him a long time as he comes up. And he says, oh, finally, the day has come, William. Let me get a good look at you. And he kind of looks at Clintok. Oh, you never look better, my son. Never look better. So, Father, he looks at Karn. Oh, so the priest has arrived. So, finally. How was your journey?
It was an interesting time reaching this room here. We saw a few strange things.
Oh, well.
But it was safe enough.
Excellent.
Well, William, this is your special day.
He kind of looks around. Clintok's like, okay. So, Father, proceed with this, with the ceremony. So, the festivities can begin. As he's waving his arms, flying insects are coming out of his shirt cuff.
Nice that the guy has a theme.
He says, well, probably don't need guards and stuff. I mean, maybe they ought to wait outside while we bind these two in the chains of holy matrimony in the eyes of Cuthbert and all the beloved.
So yeah, Natel is standing next to her husband, and she just kind of arms crossed, looking at you like whatever. And he's like, "Guards, dismiss. Yes. What do we need these guards for? Go." And they begin to turn and walk away. And Natel's like, "No, husband, they should stay. It is part of the rites and rituals that they shall be part of this." And they, of course, stop and turn around. And she looks at you. "Continue, father." And she almost says it laughingly.
This is most improper. Well, dearly beloved, we're gathered here today in the eyes of Cuthbert, those who love each other so well, to bind in the chains of holy matrimony this here William and this here Jenille. And he goes on and on about the sacred rites of marriage, and everybody's starting to get a little bit bored. And he finally says, "The rings, if you please."
Oh, he's like, oh. And Jenille reaches into her pouch and she produces like 2 rings and gives one to William.
And he says, he does the whole spiel about, with this ring, all that stuff, gets them to do the ring thing. "And by the power is given to me by Cuthbert, I pronounce you husband and wife."
He slips the ring on her, and just as she goes to slip the ring on him, all of you begin to see Babylon sitting there, and like you realize like he's got his clothing, but you see he's wearing something under his clothing, and it starts to move almost like it's animated, like a hand is under his chest, like is moving around. It looks very odd. And you can see like swarms of insects and flies and things and bugs start to like swirl around Natel, and her eyes get like saucer black, and she begins to reach her finger up, pointing it at Clintok. And we can stop right there.
Nice.
Because I don't want to get too far without Wes. We'll be like, "Wes, here we go. We're starting save versus death. Let's go."
Save versus death. Okay, you succeeded. Now save versus marriage.
Oh wait, it's the same thing. Oh no,
it's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, that's why I thought Karn's, the chains of marriage, the binding chains of marriage, and Orion's going, "Well, I didn't know Karn was into that sort of stuff, but to each his own."
Karn has no interest in getting married. That's just showing what he feels like marriage would be like.
I imagine Karn he only has one love.
Yeah.
And his name is Cuthbert.
He's a confirmed bachelor. Definitely a confirmed bachelor.
I didn't know what you all would do. I didn't want to make you go through the manor, but I figured you'd probably want to see Clintok, so. And you actually didn't, venture around, which was probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, Basil
I get the feeling,
but Orion wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
Orion told him that he'd tell Karn on him.
Basil might have leveled up.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because Zolfin has 4,800 and level 4, and I have Basil down as 4,000. and he's level 3. And I got more than 800 gold. So at least we get to the amount of XP that Zolfin has.
Yeah, but they don't level the same.
Oh, they take different.
Mm-hmm. So for a fighter
Yeah,
to
this
make
is all-
fourth level, you need 8,000 XP.
Oof. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. This is old school.
Yeah, everybody kind of levels differently, and then after a while, it just becomes everybody's hanging around the same thing for a while.
Yeah, there's a point that you reach that, you know, because it keeps doubling, right?
Yeah.
So you reach a point somewhere in between 6th and 8th level that you're just like, it's going to take you a very long time to level again.
Well, yeah, I think you're pretty close. I think actually you're really close. I'll have to look at that. Yes, Basil Bessex is going to advance. Now that I look at the numbers, and basically you played Basil the whole time. Yeah, you will advance
Nice.
Wow.
because you were fairly close.
Yeah, nice. That takes into effect after a long rest, right?
You can advance him now. I'm not going to worry about. I mean, it's like you can advance all this stuff now. It's not like all of a sudden you take a long rest and you learn stuff. You learn stuff as you go. So,
All right.
and you're probably going to need it. So,
Yeah, I will accept
Yeah, that was my thought.
the extra. Really? Oh, are you kidding me? The 2.
Oh,
Well, 24 hit points.
but this whole scenario, the Wagonbow, is based off an old school AD&D module that I have adapted. And once it's ended, I'll tell you what it is. So some of it I could use, some of it I could use, some of it I couldn't. I had to rewrite some of it. So.
Yeah, the box, most of it didn't seem familiar, but the guy with the flesh golem boxer, I think I've run across
Yeah,
before.
you probably,
Back in freaking college. So of course, not like I remembered jack shit.
that sounded familiar too. Like I've read that somewhere.
We'll start with initiative when we play next.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
See what happens.
Have a good
guys.
day, guys.
Yep, take it easy.